This weekend, the Yankees were greeted with great starting pitching, a little help from their AL East foes, and not so great jobs from Hal Steinbrenner's PR management. What's going on, guys? It's the King of Orange, 61st Street. I'm back with another video, and let's start off with Game 1. Marcus Stroman takes the bump, and he looks sharp. This is probably one of the sharpest I have seen Marcus Stroman in pinstripes since the first couple starts of the season. He was on one in this game. That sinker had movement on it. He was able to get that slider over. He was able to be efficient with his pitches, able to go 7 innings of no-run baseball, or 1-run baseball, because the last batter that he faced, Canzone, hit a home run. That told the Yankees, yeah, he's done for the day. Overall, what a performance. Offensively, this was the Alex Verdugo showcase, getting 3 RBIs out of the 4 runs that we scored in this game. Looking like we were going to take those 3 runs to the bank, get an easy win, go on an 8-game winning streak, and then disaster struck. We get out of that 7th inning nicely. Luke Weaver gets us out of the 8th. Then Clay Holmes comes in, and the baseball gods were not on the Yankees side in this game. A ton, and I mean a ton, of less than 90-mile-an-hour exit velos, blooping in, blooping in, blooping in. Probably regrets walking 2 batters in this inning. He gives up 5 runs in this inning, and it was aided by a Gleyber Torres error. Again, Gleyber Torres is really not making a great case to stay in pinstripes. Just another example of him kind of shitting the bed this year. But overall, not a good outing. This is the first outing for Clay Holmes that he has given up an earned run. This is his 2nd blown save of the season, and the Yankees could not mount an offense in that bottom of the 9th. The Yankees lose this game in heartbreaking fashion, and there's nothing I can say wrong. And I am pissed off at Yankees fans who are on social media that were just talking in general about how Clay Holmes is now the worst closer. Now we need to trade for bullpen help. Look, if your point is we need to trade for bullpen help because the way we've used the bullpen is unsustainable, I agree with you. But to say we need to trade for a closer because Clay Holmes is not the guy, look, I was wishy-washy on him in the offseason. I did not see this coming. But what has he done this season to make you think he's not the guy? Yes, he had this outing. 2 blown saves. One of them was because of the stupid Manfred man in extra innings. The other one was just a bad outing. If you really think that that one bad outing makes him a bad or below average closer, let's look around the league, shall we, at some of the best closers 2023 and 2022. If we look at the top 3, Edwin Diaz can't close his own water bottle. David Bednar can't close to save his life. Josh Hader refuses to have a good outing. These are all guys that have sucked this year. All of these guys are guys that even I was bringing up that we should bring in, like Josh Hader. But at some point you gotta be open-minded in this sport because it's so interchanging. Clay Holmes right now is probably still the best performing closer of the year, no matter what this performance was. And yes, this performance was not great, but A, he got bit by a Gleyber Torres error. B, he got bit by these low exit velo, that's baseball types of hits. And look, his location was not top tier. That's the reason why we lost this game. To say now that we have to get rid of him, it's kind of shameful from some of you guys. You guys have no sense of gauging a guy's ability because this has been one of the best closers of the year. Anyways, on to game 2. We're back. We have Clark Schmidt on the bump, and Clark Schmidt was off in this game. Long inning after long inning after long inning. Didn't give up too much damage. It was 2 earned runs over 5 innings. He got to 5 innings, which I do appreciate out of Clark Schmidt. He is consistent. This is kind of the original Clark Schmidt that we've seen. I am impressed at how he didn't have his A+ stuff and still was able to only give up 2 runs when it looked like he could have given up more. This was not his best performance, but I give him kudos for being able to stick it out and limit the damage, because that's what a starting pitcher has to do. The offense was dormant, and it looked like it was a hangover off of that brutal loss from the night before. And then Gleyber Torres hits a 3-run home run to put us back in the game after the bullpen fucked it up in the top half of the inning. It was 4-0. Gleyber Torres hits this 3-run homer, puts us right back in the game, and this is where I have to look at Aaron Boone. What are we doing in this situation? To set the stage, we go to the bottom half of the inning. We just clawed back to be within striking distance of this game, and before that, he had a new guy that we just got off of waiver, Clayton Andrews, up in the bullpen. Maybe he could be good someday, maybe he won't. In a 4-0 game, it's an okay spot to put in a guy like that, or a good spot to put in a Tonkin who's just coming off the jet 2 hours ago, like the one in Milwaukee. Once Gleyber Torres hits that 3-run homer, immediately you got to get on that phone. Sit Andrews down. Give me Luke Weaver. Give me Nick Birdie. Give me someone else. Give me a vet. Don't give me this bullshit. And you know what Aaron Boone did? He gave us that bullshit of Clayton Andrews. And you know what happened? First batter of the inning, bam, home run. Now we're down 5-3. That right there, not being able to shut the door in that latter half of the inning, which if we brought in a vet, we had a way higher possibility of doing it. These are the decisions that make people not trust Aaron Boone, because he makes boneheaded decisions like this. Now, there is an argument to be had that the bullpen has been expended, and he did get picked up on waivers for a reason, because this bullpen needs depth. And what I would say to you is, where the fuck is Ron Marinaccio then? Why is he not here? Why'd you sign this guy off of waivers instead of picking up a guy like Ron Marinaccio out of AAA? Because I'm telling you right now, Ron Marinaccio might be able to get out of that inning run free. I have full confidence that he could have. You know who I don't have full confidence in to do that? Clayton fucking Andrews. Most Yankee fans, when they see him walking to the dugout and doing his warm-ups, when they are introducing him, probably looked at their TVs and said, "Who? You do not trust that guy in a situation where we are just clawing our way back into the game." He gives up the home run, does not have a great inning. The Yankees fall for the second game in a row. That was a 6-3 performance. Again, the offense being produced by Gleyber Torres and Gleyber Torres only. Offense didn't really come to the dance that night, so you can't put it all on Clayton Andrews in that situation. In baseball, momentum is a factor. And once Seattle's able to extend that lead again to multiple runs, get that insurance, they were able to exhale. We let that happen. Maybe if we keep them from exhaling, they start to panic. Once they start to panic, we capitalize. Anyways, we move on from there. We go to the next day, and we have Nestor Cortez on the bump going up against Bryce Miller of the Mariners, a very solid pitcher, a below 1 whip, very solid. Nestor Cortez comes out, and again, another outing where he does not have his A+ stuff. Something I truly wanted to talk about. This is exactly why you do not put Nestor Cortez into the bullpen. His stuff is meant to be a starting pitcher, because they brought it up on the broadcast. They tell you, look, if you have a 30-start season, you'll have 10 starts where you have your A+ stuff and you'll dominate. 10 games where you don't have anything and you're going to get shelled. It's the other 10 starts where you don't have your A+ stuff, but it's manageable. Those 10 starts tell you how your season's going to go. I can tell you right now, in those 10 starts where Nestor Cortez is sort of battling out there, he's not able to get his slider over the plate. He's not able to get his cutter to dominate batters up in the zone. He's able to fight his ass off, and that's exactly what he did in this game, giving us no runs when we saw he did not have his stuff. They were not biting on his breaking stuff. He was not doing any of his tricks because he was laboring out there, and he gave us a no-run outing. This is the performance that we needed out of Nestor Cortes. He pitches 5 innings, only 3 strikeouts. Like I said, they were not getting fooled at all. What a performance. And I know it wasn't a glamorous performance. It was a gutsy performance. And I give that probably more credit than the glamour performances that you'll see. On offense, you had Aaron Judge leading the way as he hits a home run in the first inning. And then Juan Soto led the show after that, hitting 2 home runs in this game. Had a bid for 3, by the way. Didn't come to fruition. Yankees had an onslaught of offense after 2 nights of not being the best offensively. Yankees win this game 7-3. We saw the return of Tommy Kahnle in this game right after Nestor. Then Tonkin comes in, obviously gives up 3 runs because why the fuck not? And that's all she wrote. Yankees survive and have the chance to split this series come Thursday morning for most of you, if not early afternoon. This was a 12:30 Eastern time start. Luis Gil on the mound, taking on the Seattle Mariners ace, Luis Castillo, and another marvelous outing from Luis Gil. You saw it from the start, a less than 10 pitch first inning, and you knew it. Off the bat, he was going to have his good stuff. Another no-run game through 6 1/3. Struck out 8. Only walked 2. Only gave up 1 hit. How do you take Luis Gil out of this rotation when he is arguably in the discussion to get a Cy Young? He may not have the name recognition to get there, but if he does not make even an All-Star game, New York City has to riot, because this performance from this kid is what he's been doing ever since mid-April. Garrett Cole has been giving him some lessons. He's been teaching him how to be a professional pitcher. Even Luis Gil has brought it up, how much that has helped him throughout this journey. And you could see it on the mound. He has become far more composed. When he's behind in the count, he doesn't look far as emotional on the mound. He seems more confident. He walks out there like, I know I'm good enough to do this. So I don't care. Maybe if I walk 1 batter, it's not going to rattle me. He has developed such thick skin during the course of this season. It has been some of the most fun things to look at throughout this season is the development of Luis Gil. He is one of my favorite players at the moment because of the way he's been able to develop. Again, we all knew he had the talent. Upper 90s on the fastball. Changeup that I always say has been the best one I've seen in over a decade. Breaking ball is getting to a point where it's becoming pretty good, which is kind of keeping hitters honest. This performance was elite. In this game, we got offense from Giancarlo Stanton hitting the Mohegan Sun bar out in center field, going right into Monument Park, making it a 1-0 game. You had Aaron Judge joining the party, hitting his own home run. This is in the 40s of the amount of times Judge and Stanton have hit home runs in the same game. And their record when they do that is in the lower 90 percentile. That's very good. You had RBIs from Alex Verdugo, Anthony Rizzo. Ended up being a 5-0 outing. You had Clay Holmes coming in towards the end, probably to get his confidence back. Hopefully he does have his confidence back, because now we go on to a 10-game California road trip, starting off with San Diego, finishing in San Francisco. We're gonna need his A game to come in, even though those are not the greatest team. But anyways, I know you guys saw the thumbnail. You saw possibly the title. You heard my intro. How Steinbrenner cannot get out of his own way. It's fucking ridiculous at this point. He was just starting to get in Yankees' favor after the comments he made about wanting to re-sign Juan Soto. Now he goes to an owners meeting. And something that's interesting that I heard from, I think, Ken Rosenthal on one of the podcasts. Or no, it wasn't Ken Rosenthal. It was the former Marlins vice president. He brought up, you do not have to talk to media if you go to an owners meeting. If there's media outside, you do not have an obligation to them. The players have an obligation to the media after game. The owners do not. So why Hal Steinbrenner thought it was a great idea to go to a media scrum and say, team's payroll nowadays is just unsustainable, man. I can't be paying $300 million to try and win a World Series. That's what the fuck it takes, Hal. That's what the fuck it takes. If you want to keep up with some of these lower market teams' scouting processes, as a bigger market team, you have the luxury of being able to spend your fucking money. You are the New York Yankees, for Christ's sake. You literally print money in your office. There is no reason that you cannot have this type of payroll. You know what it is? It's the fact that he's a greedy motherfucker. And I'm sorry to say that because it is his money. Let's call a spade a spade. This is a greedy comment because this team was built on winning and doing what it takes to win. And then once George Steinbrenner came in, he solidified that. His son decides to come in, and now it's a game of profit. Hal Steinbrenner has been one of the biggest proponents of a salary cap. He has been one of the biggest advocates for it. He's someone who literally wants the league to give him an excuse to not spend his money. Now, as bad of a look as this is, this to me did not sound like he was out on Juan Soto. The way I took it was the team may not look the same next year because I don't have the money to pay the extra. The extras meaning I'm not going to pay Gleyber Torres. I'm not going to pay Alex Verdugo. I'm not going to pay Anthony Rizzo. I'm not going to pay some of these other guys who may be up on their contract. I think his sole thing is get Juan Soto done and then sort of go minor leagues. And he does have options. This is the bright side of this, is that if he doesn't re-sign Verdugo being a corner outfielder, it forces Aaron Judge to play almost exclusively in center field. Well, if Verdugo's gone and you bring in Jason Dominguez, he's a center fielder. So what you could do is you could throw Soto into left field, put Judge into right field, and now you have softened the blow on his leg as Aaron Judge gets older. So that could be a win for us. We have guys like Oswald Peraza right now in the minor. We have other guys coming up like Roderick Arias. We have others that could make a difference for this team in the minor league. We have Spencer Jones that can come in if he starts working out at first base. He has one of the better molds for a first baseman. If he were to come up, that could be a spot for him. There's some options that we could have here. But what Hal is saying here is that we may not be as and well-rounded of a team because he doesn't want to pay them. He wants to be under the luxury tax. He wants to have a low payroll, and he wants to make maximum profit. It's kind of sad, but there is another way you could look at this. You could look at this, and I've seen some people online say this. He could be saying, I don't want to go over the luxury tax because I have to pay $1 for every dollar I spend. Meaning if I pay $50 million over the luxury tax, that means I have to give another $50 million because I'm in the luxury tax. He could be trying to say the luxury tax was a good idea. I'm voting against it next CBA. Maybe. And that's probably the most generous way you could look at it for Hal, because that would be saying he wants to spend money. Only problem is we've seen over the past few years, he has been reluctant to spend that money. It seems like he's put a lot of eggs into the 2024 basket. And so far, it has looked good. If we do not win the World Series in 24, and then, God forbid, Juan Soto's gone. God forbid, we lose everyone that we have as a free agent. It was all for nothing. Hal Steinbrenner needs to continue to spend his money if this team wants to win. That's what this team is built off of. Yes, we have a solid farm system, probably in the top 10, but a top 10 farm system is not going to get you what the Orioles have right now, because the Yankees are good enough to where they're never going to have a top 3 draft pick. They're never going to get the projected generational talent. Volpe landed in our lap, and he has looked amazing. He's on an amazing hitting streak at about 16, 17 games. He's looked awesome this season. He was not projected to do this. He was also 18 years old coming into the organization. You don't always expect an 18-year-old to come in and produce the way he did up the ladder. The way the Yankees win games, the way the Yankees win in October is by spending money. We are the evil empire for a reason. Hal cannot backtrack on this now. We have just earned that reputation back. Again, I'm not sure why he even did this. If you have these thoughts, keep them to your goddamn self. You don't have to tell us. I get he's trying to be transparent now. If you know you're going to piss people off, just stop talking. That's my advice to Hal Steinbrenner. Just stop talking. Anyways, guys, I've been recording long enough. Been over a half hour here. Probably going to be closer to like 15-20 minutes on your end. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below. You're new here, hit that sub button. I'm out of here. We got San Diego coming up. Hopefully we can get a win here. Hopefully we don't have to face Matt Waldron. Holy shit. If we have to face Matt Waldron, that could be a whole video of itself. Anyways, I'm out of here. Take care and peace.